right, good afternoon and welcome to the Jimmy Crow Sr. Robert Jordan 250 live today at Daytona. Thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network, and you've got your broadcast team. I'm Rick Souza here with my broadcast partner Jeff Nini, and Jeff, this should be a very interesting race. There are some fabulous drivers in today's field.
Boy, that is for sure, Rick. It's a real honor to celebrate the lives of Jimmy Crow Sr. and Robert Jordan with this 250-mile race. But we've seen these guys. You and I have had the privilege to broadcast some of their races in the past, and you're absolutely right. Some top-notch drivers in here that are going to give us some really exciting laps here at Daytona Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. It's just going to be a great day here. We've got a number of drivers. I believe our count is somewhere around 40 or so. If you've watched this broadcast before, some very familiar faces and names that will come up on the screen, as well as some newcomers. But this kind of race brings out these memorial type races, bring out some of the best, and especially since we're honoring some drivers, some people who have been around the iRacing community for many years. Jimmy Crow Sr. And Robert Jordan. Robert Jordan was actively, he passed last month, but was actively involved in a number of racing leagues and was part of the Limitless Esports team, and really was just a great guy who had a lot of friends in the iRacing community. And we've had previous races in support of the memory of Jimmy Crow, and I could be wrong. We'll get Jimmy Crow Jr. in here, but I think this may be the anniversary of Jimmy Crow Sr.'s passing. So a lot of stars lined up to get this out at the right time, but just a fabulous event today for a great cause.
It really is, and a little twist to it. Most of the time, when we've had the rights to broadcast these races in the past, they've been racing trucks for most of that time. Today, we're going to be racing the next gen car, and I'm really excited to see how these guys drive those vehicles because they drive so differently from the truck series.
Absolutely. I think there was, certainly if you're familiar with that type of truck on this, we've seen them 2 and sometimes 3 wide. I think with the next gens and the way they're set up, we'll hope for some good 2 wide racing.
Yeah, we'll likely see 3 wide in certain limited situations, but 2 wide racing on Daytona with this next gen car is definitely exciting.
Absolutely. So right now we've got about 5 minutes left of practice, and then we will move into a qualifying session. So it's a 1-lap qualifying, and you know this as well as from your experience doing on iRacing as well, that on these super speedways, Daytona, Talladega, your first lap is always going to be your fastest lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Steve Korosek has the would be the provisional pole if we were qualifying, but he's the top of the board on the practice laps here with a 44.925, which is pretty quick. Quick enough. He is 1/1000th of a second in front of J.R. Miller, who has a 44.926. So 44.925 versus 44.926, 1/1000th of a second is less than a blink of your eye. So not very much space between those guys. And but we'll see those times come down quite a bit in the qualifying run because of the drafting.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. We put up the tower to let people see just where those times are stacking up. If you're looking for your favorite driver, you can definitely see exactly what's happening right now. So
yeah,
go ahead.
We see some of our drivers, the league that we broadcast and that we race in, IWM league. Matt Swope is up there in the top 10. He's holding down the 9th position right now. He's a iRacing Warriors League member. So it's good to see some of those guys out there working hard. His brother Elliot is in 22nd right at the moment. And so we're excited to see those guys out there mixing it up with some of these regulars in Jimmy Crow's racing.
Yeah, as part of that celebration for a memorial race like this, the admins for IWM collectively got out there and decided that hey, they were gonna race and be part of this event, and that's gonna be fun to watch. So.
Absolutely, you see Matt Swope right there in the 82 car. And that's the IWM drivers right there. We don't want to make this a commercial about them. This is about the race and about remembering the lives of Jimmy Crow Sr. and Robert Jordan, who, like you mentioned, just passed away last month. Had such an impression on all the drivers in this race through their experiences on iRacing.
Let me see if I can move Jimmy to the broadcast booth and get a few words before qualifying. Jimmy, I know it's almost qualifying time, less than 2 minutes away, but wanted to pull you in just to say a few words and talk about today's event.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all calling the race as usual. Thank y'all, gentlemen. Today is the Jimmy Crow Sr., Robert Jordan 250 from Daytona. Today's the 3rd year anniversary of my father's death, and we lost Mr. Robert last month, so I wanted to throw him on here too. And it's for everybody. It's lost people. You got Jimmy Reynolds in here. He's lost his father. You got Cody Nagels, who's lost his grandfather, and numerous people. And this race is for everybody. I just hope it's a good show for everybody, and man, hope it's some good racing. And like always, it's always a good broadcast on IWM Broadcast Network, and appreciate y'all and all the fans and all the drivers.
Well, Jimmy, you always put on a great race, so we're excited to broadcast it. And I always enjoy working with Rick and with you on this show, and looking forward to seeing some exciting racing today. How much different is driving the Gen 6 car over what we usually see you guys in, the trucks?
We're in the next gen over the trucks. It's a little different. The runs are different. I actually been turning some laps, and I'm starting to really like the car and how it races. It's going to be a lot different than that pack racing we're used to with the trucks, so that should be interesting as well.
Well, we've called a few races here at Daytona with the Next Gen Series. What we have seen for sure is a little bit of snappiness coming off of 2 and 4. Definitely hope those drivers are aware, especially in the draft. It can get pretty snappy.
Oh yeah, like I said, we don't really run these cars as often as probably we should. So I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out as well.
Well, that's it for the practice session. Looks like it is now time to qualify. Jimmy, we'll let you go and get back to your channel, and we wish you a lot of luck, and we wish all the racers a lot of luck today.
Oh yeah, and big shout out to everybody helping out. My wife helping out. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing that. I call her my team owner, my crew chief, because she can pull the plug on this iRacing thing at any minute. So I appreciate her allowing me to do it, and everybody coming out and race.
All right,
good deal.
That's Jimmy Crow. He puts together, along with his better half, these events, and we're so proud and humbled to be part of this with them. So right now the drivers are out on the track beginning to get their qualifying in, and while they're qualifying, Jeff, let's take a look at the race info for today.
Okay, looking forward to this extremely competitive 250 miler today. We've got 70-degree weather here in Daytona. Looks like 0% chance of rain, clear skies, virtually no wind. It's a 100-lap race with one quick repair, and we'll be talking about that during the race. Unlimited sets of tires, which doesn't matter as much at a super speedway, but that'll come in handy occasionally. These guys are running 70% fuel, and we'll have 3 attempts at a green-white checker if we need those at the end of the race.
All right, so let's get back in. So you heard 100 laps at this 2.5 mile super speedway, and we went back into our information and said, okay, what's going to be the keys for today's race? And let's bring up those. So what we've come up with for today is number one, teamwork. So, you'll see the qualifying times come up, and if you're familiar with qualifying here at Daytona, you'll see that they'll be qualifying, and you'll see sometimes 48.952 for Kevin Freeze, and other times are being posted. But when they're in a pack, those times drop substantially. So you've got to have a teammate or teammates, plural, because 2 cars is faster than 1, 3 cars is faster than 2. Secondly, unfortunately, don't lose the pack. You've got to be able to not lose the pack, because if you lose the draft, you're going to wind up, and we've got a small spelling mistake in there. And finally, patience. You've got to have patience here because it is a long event. You have absolutely got to be able to pace yourself over this time.
We really see those laps slow down. We were looking at 44, 45-second laps when they were practicing in the draft. Now we're up to 48, 49-second laps. So 4 or 5 seconds difference between those that are running in a pack and those that are running by themselves. And that's why Rick stressed that you've got to stay with the pack when you're racing here at Daytona. Losing 4 or 5 seconds a lap, it does not take long, probably 10 laps or so, and you will be a lap down. So it's super important, uber important to stay with that draft.
Absolutely. All right, so qualifying is getting close to wrapping up. There are a number of drivers on here. Garrett Maines is finishing up. Garrett, I think he wins the award for the highest I rating here. He has got a 90. Garrett's is a 93.51.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the number of drivers out there. Kevin Freeze, he's got almost a 5,400 I rating, and so a number of other drivers. Jason Maines, almost a 5,000 rating. Sebastian Marin, who we're familiar with, almost 8,400 I rating. So the quality of competitors for this event is substantial. So.
Yeah, Andrew, now I lost it. Andrew Navarro, there it is, almost 7,500 I rating. So that's pretty amazing. Garrett Maines has a different license, and maybe you can help me with that, Rick. It's a WC license.
It's the Pro Series license.
Okay.
Yep.
That was what I thought, but I wasn't positive, and so. That right there, that is not an easy license to get. So that'll give you some indication as to the skill level and the experience of Garrett.
Absolutely. All right. Looks like we're beginning to see the field beginning to form up. And that should give us a chance to bring in our grid.
There we go. Kevin Freese in that first position in the 25 car. Alongside him is Garrett Maines, who we talked about in the 12 machine. Cody Nagels in the 6 is in third, alongside Ray Rittenauer in the 087. Following them, Austin Green in the 87, Andrew Navarro in the 43. In P7 is Gabe Butler, who we've seen out here a lot in the trucks, in the 88. Anthony English in the 44 is in 8th position. 9th is Joe Della Vecchia in the 052, alongside Rick Seabrands in the 4. John Ward in the 92, and rounding out those top 12 is Jason Maines in the 1.
In 13th, J.R. Miller. On his outside, Matt Swope in the 82. Jimmy Reynolds in 15th, Alex Hill in 16th, James Mayer in 17th, and Mr. Les Levy is in 18th. John Derudris is in 19th, and Tom Dixon is in 20th. 21st, Michael Carpenter in the 32 on his outside, Elliott Swope in the 16th and 22nd, David Overstreet in 23rd, and Jude Conrad is in 24th.
We've got in 25th spot David Bone alongside Jeremy Osborne. In 27th, Zach Range alongside Bobby Forbes. Then in the next row, in 29th, is Stephen Harry from Georgia, and the 30 of Sebastian Marin. Dylan Jones is in 31st alongside Steve Korosek in the 32nd and 33rd, Sean Stevens alongside Heath Job. And in 35th, Vince Guerrero alongside Joshua McCullough in 36th spot.
As we finish up the field, in 37th is Justin Mills. 38th is Christopher McCullough in the 03. Kenneth McCullough is in 39th, and Denny Barnes in 40th. And in the back, but he never stays there, is Dean Wilkinson in the 55.
This is going to be, I see a lot of familiar names in this race and a few that are maybe not familiar to us, but you can tell from their licensing that they're very qualified iRacers. I'm looking forward again to seeing these guys run the next gen car. This will be exciting.
Absolutely looking forward to it. These guys always just bring out the best in each other. Their ability to draft is just phenomenal.
The Jimmy Crowe Sr. Robert Jordan Memorial 250 is just about to get underway. Cars are on the backstretch now going in turn 3, and pretty soon we'll be seeing that green flag wave.
Don't forget, this is brought to you by One Stop Shop, a graphics designer out of Wichita, Kansas. But you can hit their website, onestopshop316.com, for more information. All right, about to get underway here at Daytona. Beautiful day for racing. Race car has dropped off, and once they hit that Geico restart zone, it's all on Mr. Kevin Freeze, and we are underway here at Daytona.
The cars ramp up the speed, and they'll stay in line here for a little bit, but pretty soon they will start shifting from one lane to the other and moving forward and backward, and we won't be able to keep up with how fast the lead changes. You can see that outside line getting a big run on these guys right now.
You've got Mr. Garrett Maines out there, Ray Rittenauer, Andrew Navarro, Anthony English, Rick Seaburns are all out there. And we'll do our best to keep up with the numbers. So the numbers we may call out or you may see on the tower may be different. Oh, we've already got a caution.
Oh, boy.
There is a big wreck. We were focusing on the leaders, but something happened towards the back of the pack. We'll try to go ahead and grab that. There's lots going on.
The starts here at Daytona can be treacherous sometimes because the cars are jumped up so close together that if one person makes a wrong move or just slips a little bit, it can cause a catastrophe for sometimes half the field.
So we're going to try and get some idea as to what may have happened towards the end of the field. And let's go back and grab that yellow flag.
Rick has to do for those of you watching, there it is.
All right, so I think that was also possibly it was Jason Maines. We'll go back and focus on Jason, look at a far chase here and take this in a little bit of slow motion here.
Oh, he got tagged by the 70, or no, he didn't. I thought they made contact. The 77 you can see taking it three wide. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yep. So
really aggressive move for that first turn.
Exactly. A little premature. I'm not sure.
That's
It's
Gabe
Hill.
Butler that's going to get hit
So
too.
that's Alex Hill, unfortunately, um, came up aggressively through there, took out Gabe Butler.
And the one of Jason Maines. Yep.
Go back and let this from our blimp cam is probably our best shot, because this is going to get wild, because
Oh yeah.
unfortunately it's going to collect so many people.
And this is the reason why we have at least one quick repair, because so many cars are going to be damaged and not be able to continue without that. So you're going to see a lot of guys use up that quick repair early on.
Yep, number of guys are currently in the pits. Again, they have one opportunity for a quick repair. And again, you don't want to use it on the first lap,
No,
but you don't
no,
have a
for
choice.
sure.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you'll see the guys that have mediocre damage or slight damage staying in the pits for repairs, but the guys that are damaged enough that they've got 4, 5, 8, 10 minutes of repair work to do, they'll just about have to use their quick repair, or they will be out of the hunt.
All right, so we've just gotten underway here. Already a little bit of an incident, but we'll go back and get this set up. So right now, not a whole lot has changed. You've got Garrett Maines currently showing in first, Ray Rittenauer second, Kevin Fries, Andrew Navarro, Cody Nagels, Austin Green, Anthony English, Rick Seabrens, John Ward, and Joe Della Vecchia. That's your top 10.
There's John DeRugeris in 11th spot. He's doing good there. Zach Range, David Bone, Sean Stevens, Sebastian Marin in 15th, Steve Korosek, David Overstreet, Gabe Butler, Les Levy, Jeremy Osborne, and they are moving around. You can see even under the yellow caution flag, those spots are moving quite a bit. You've got Bobby Forbes, J.R. Miller, Matt Swope, Justin Mills, Josh McCullough, and Michael Carpenter making out the top 25.
All right, so we're about to get back underway here at Daytona. The lights are off on the top of our pace car, and we'll get back to broadcasting. Again, Garrett Maines. Garrett is, although it shows maybe 12 in the tower, his car, I believe, is 87, and he is out there in the first position, which kind of gives him the control car. So the field will go on Garrett on the restart. And again, we appreciate you tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. We're pushing this out across, I think, 5 different ways to watch this event: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X or Twitter. We've got this in a lot of different ways for you to stream this content, and we appreciate you following along and keeping up with IWM. We've got a very busy broadcast schedule. Starting this week, we've got 2 races coming up, 2 events on Wednesday and again on Thursday. So please, if you like what you see here, like and follow along, and we will bring you iRacing and e-racing each and every week.
Pace car is off.
And green flag is out, and we are back underway here at Daytona. Oh, a little bit of lane changing right away, and expect to see that, because that's just how we get advanced. Someone was coming out of the pits. I'm not sure who was still in there. That may have been, that's the one of Jason Maines. He is, I think, a lap down, but at this point, he is the only car that's a lap down, and if there is another incident, he'll be able to get that lap back.
Whoa, there they go again. 72 direct.
All right, caution's back out. I think Alex Hill could have been involved again. Let's go back and quickly see just what happened there. But the yellow flag is back out here on lap 6. Oh, so that's the 72 of Sean Stevens.
Yeah, I heard somebody yell, same guy. There, yep, 77 sent him around. He was the one that had the aggressive move that caused that big one on lap 1.
All right, just to double check. So we're 3 wide here, and this is Daytona with NextGen. It is super hard to stay 3 wide here. On these corner exits, it does narrow, and there you can see the contact with the 77 and the 72. Unfortunately, that also collects, I think, the 27. Gabe Butler is right there as well. He's trying to dive out of that incident. The 77 heads down to the apron and into
Boy,
the grass.
Gabe Butler in that 88, you can see right there, he was involved in that first one. You know, none of his work, but he just got caught up in somebody else's mess and almost did it again. That was some good driving to avoid that.
All right, caution is out here at Daytona. We barely got a couple laps in. A number of guys have chosen to head down onto pit road. So you've got Alex Hill, J.R. Miller, Sebastian Marr. About half the field is currently coming down onto pit road.
It looks like the majority of the leaders stayed out. We have a lot of guys that are on lap 7. Gabe Butler is one that pitted on that first go around, but he's still up in the top 15. He's got only 5 laps on his tires compared to 7 laps that the leaders all have. A lot of people on pit road there. You see those cars coming off. You see a lot of people still on there. If you're towards the back of the field, it's a great time to gas up, get new tires. If you scrub some off, spinning and sliding back there. And if not nothing else, just get new rubber on there. It gives you a couple lap advantage, which doesn't matter as much on this track, but every little bit helps.
Yep, so a number of guys, I can tell just by their time spent on pit road, they were getting some damage repaired from the earlier incidents that they may have been caught up in.
Yeah, Gabe Butler is one of those. Had a little bit of a long pit stop, but so far didn't seem to have lost that much.
Well, and you can certainly do that here. It does take a while to cycle around this track, especially under caution. So if you need to make a number of repairs, now is the time to do it. So.
Yep, you'll see guys that will come in and pit at the first opportunity under a caution, and then they'll go back out and come in and pit again just so they don't go a lap down waiting on their repairs.
All right, we are at lap 8, just crossing the strike now of 100 in the Jimmy Crow Sr. Robert Jordan 250. We've had a couple of cautions today for incidents that have occurred. Unfortunately, I believe that I could be mistaken. It looked like the 77 of Alex Hill. Unfortunately, they have brought those out by. From what we can tell, possibly some 3-wide racing that caused some incidents, but I'm not going to say it was only his fault. We have seen some in the last broadcast. We have some issues with what you may hear us refer to as a netcode, and that is referring to, and we have an example of that. We'll point it out again, but certainly that's where the servers, because this is a software simulation, thinks you're going to be, but maybe you're not. But the incident looks like it's There's no contact, but the computer simulation expected contact. So we'll point that out if you're not familiar with that and bring that to your attention. And I'm sure we'll have an example of that to show you before today is over. But that being said, the lights are off on top of the pace car to wrap up this second caution of the day. And again, Garrett Maines will be the leader and will take us to the stripe.
I know this is not the way Jimmy Crow Jr. wanted to start this race, but sometimes it takes these guys a little while to either knock the rust off or just get acclimated to this different car that they're racing tonight.
Yeah, as you heard, if you tuned in earlier in the broadcast, we've seen these guys go with the trucks here. This is the first time we broadcasted this event in the next gen. All right, we are back underway here. We're going to keep a little bit of a back in the field a bit. See if we can identify any issues as we get back through the field.
Oh.
Keeping an eye on a number of drivers here. So far, good, clean racing. And eventually you'll see this pack begin to kind of break up into different segments. But that outside line really is cranked up.
Boy, I'll say. It's interesting.
With the wall contact with the 78, the 77 is involved. Big wreck.
77 was in that one. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I don't think
he was just an innocent bystander on that one.
Yeah, I think he got caught up. I think the 78 of J.R. Miller may have brushed the wall and then unfortunately came down. Let's see if we can get a replay on that. All right, we'll just kind of follow along here. So we do see the 78. He's behind, I think, the 11. Definitely in the wall, and that's going to slow your car down. And unfortunately, that drew the 77 up, who then tapped him in the left rear quarter panel, spinning him around. The 052 is there. 78 definitely straightens it back out. The 24 goes down low. 33 may have a little bit of contact there. 78 back into the wall. But not terrible. It could have been a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah, a lot of guys showed us some great driving there to get through that. Saw the 27 sneak his way through on the right-hand side. That was Stephen Korosek. He had been involved earlier too, and once again, no fault of his own, just getting caught up in somebody else's mess, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And boy, that's what happens so often at Daytona. It's tight racing. The cars are close to each other. They're running too wide, nose to tail, and all it takes, you saw there, just one little mistake. Somebody brushed the wall, and it can cause a big scene, especially when it happens in the middle of the pack like that.
So I think this is a good opportunity for a number of drivers who are now back and coming down onto pit road. If you had damage in those previous incidents, this is actually a blessing, all these incidents, because you've got an opportunity to get 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of damage repairs done, not just picking up fuel or tires, but with unlimited tires, if you've got the time, if you're going to be on pit road, you might as well. But but definitely those guys who are getting damage done, damage repaired, this is all about them.
You saw the Tide car there, just as the camera went to pan off it, getting left side tires. So some of these guys will take all 4 tires on a pit stop like this. Sometimes they'll just take 2. Daytona does not scrub tires off like some of the other shorter tracks or more abrasive tracks do. So a lot of times you'll see guys only take 2 tires on a stop just to keep their pit stop a little bit shorter.
All right, that's there are still a number of drivers still on pit road making necessary repairs. And I'm sure that Jimmy is on the radio talking to these drivers.
Yeah, he was. And unfortunately, somebody, it wasn't Jimmy, but somebody had come on the radio congratulating the guys on making it a full lap. And then that's when that caution came out again. So that was a tough one. So let's hope that now guys will settle down. We can get it together and get some green flag racing in here.
Well, as you can see right now, Garrett Main still remains at the top of the leaderboard. Kevin Fries, Ray Rittenauer, Anthony English, Rick Seabrins, John Ward, Zach Range, Gabe Butler, Jeremy Osborne, Cody Nagel, Steve Korosek, and Alex Hill are your top 12. Some notables are kind of working their way back up. A number of guys are back on pit lane.
It's interesting, 9 out of the first top 10 have not pitted yet. In spite of all these caution flags, they've stayed out there. So be interesting to see how far they can go. I don't know what maybe 19, 20 laps?
Well, with 70% fuel, that may be a little bit longer.
Okay, that's true. I think when we were doing 19, 20 laps, we were at 50% fuel. So
maybe 30 or so.
Yeah.
We'll be watching out for Garrett Mains and those top drivers when they begin to make their way down onto pit road. You know, if you're out front like this, you don't want to give up, especially what we've seen. This is our third caution. You know, from a strategy perspective, you got to stay out of trouble. You know.
Yep. I
don't know if anybody who's listening has been tuning in to the Netflix NASCAR series, but there was definitely a quotable line on there. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that was a great series. Just finished watching the last episode today, and really enjoyed that. Found myself wishing it would have been 10 episodes instead of 5. Pace car is off, and the green flag is out. Here we go again, lap 13.
So what I wanted to quote was a line by Joey Logano. He had said, "If you're running in the back with the squirrels, you're gonna get your nuts busted."
I remember that. That was a classic line.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's the same thing we've seen here. You know, if you were to take that opportunity, if you're in that top 10 group, drop off, go get fuel, you're gonna wind up in some dirty air. You're gonna wind up back in traffic. You're gonna potentially wind up, unfortunately, where there's a lot of drama going on. And the last thing you want to wind up with is in a place that is unfamiliar or, frankly, will put your car in danger.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Both lines sticking together pretty well here. I have been surprised that the outside line has been so dominant. A lot of times we see, especially early on, that bottom is the place to be. But, boy, I'll tell you what, Garrett Mains has done just a great job of leading that outside line, and he continues to stay out there.
Well, he's got a great guy behind him. That's Ray Rittenauer. When I first got involved in iRacing, going back a few years, they are 3 wide with a bump in the corner. I had the pleasure of being in a league with Ray, and he's just a fabulous driver. So that's Cody Nagels right there. Cody's got the 27 behind him. of Steve Korosek. Those guys have raced together. There's the 88's dropped down. That's Gabe Butler. The 92 is there. That's John Ward.
Yeah, we saw Gabe Butler got caught up in one of those earlier mishaps, and it's good to see him back up there, back running up front, and keeping
all the way
together.
up front. Gabe's right now leading that outside line. And, you know, in other broadcasts we've done here at Daytona, if you've got a good pusher, you've got a good third car, that outside line can be the stronger of the two lines.
Yeah, we see John Ward out there now. It's so interesting to me in this pack racing how often the lead changes. I mean, it can change 5 or 6 times per lap. It really makes for some exciting racing, but it makes it very tough to follow.
Oh, a little bit of a bobble there, and that goes back to what I was telling you earlier. In the pack, in the draft, there is a lot of movement in these cars. That last aero package and adjustments that iRacing has put out, these cars are a little snappy coming out of turn 2 and turn 4, and especially in this amount of air, you got to be prepared.
Yeah, you can see that 27 of Steve Korosek going left, right, left, right, left, right. Just and a lot of that's from the air that you mentioned. Rick. Those cars, the air coming off of the car in front of you really creates a wake. And these cars are so responsive, which is good, but that means they're also very much affected by that wind buffeting that when that air comes off the car in front of them.
So a lot of movement up at the front. You've seen Alex Hill, that car that was in those earlier incidents. He's made his way up to the front. Oh, spinning. The Ford tapped the 6. That's Rick Seabrans. And in the 4 and the 41 also got collected. That's Jeremy Osborne. Nope. Well, the car is 41, but that's not who that is. Rick Seaman's got definitely, I see some front end damage. Let's go back and see just what happened.
It looks like Garrett Maines may have been, I just heard him on the radio. It sounded like he was caught up in it, but I didn't see him get caught up in it.
No, I see the 6. I'm not quite sure who that is. Let's back it up just a little bit.
See the 4 there
is it
of Rick Seabrans.
Yeah, I see that. It looks like Maynard. Is there a... I don't know. Let's play this out a little bit here. We can see what happens.
Yep. 4 gets into the back.
Mills is collected. The 052 of Della Vecchia comes up. That's Navarro in this. So the car is identified as a 6, but unfortunately in iRacing it shows as the 14. But yep, that's just what we're going to face.
Makes it really tough to call these races when the numbers don't line up.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunately, 6 was not clear in that. We'll go back to live. The entire field now has made their way down onto pit lane. So here we are, lap 19. Everybody has come down. And the field will shuffle itself back up. Okay, 4th caution of the day. Unfortunately, that's brought out by, I believe, an incident with the 6, who was actually the 14 of Guerrero, who was not clear. And it's, it's innocent mistake. It's easy to have happen to anybody here when you are racing 2 and 3 wide.
Absolutely, and these guys all have a spotter in their ear, whether it's a live person or a computer-generated spotter. The unfortunate thing about the computer-generated spotters, they don't tell you if a guy has a run. They just give you clear or inside, clear or outside. And you think you're clear, but the problem is the guy behind you's got such a run. By the time you hear clear and turn down, that guy could be already inside your bumper, and that's going to send you for a ride.
Absolutely. So the current, we'll just bring you the current order now. This is basically because as those drivers came out of pit road, they have jumbled up the order, and so now you've got Sebastian Marin, who is currently on top and will be the control car on the restart. You've got Steve Korosek, Alex Hill, Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines, Dude Conrad, Kevin Fries, John Ward, Zach Range, and Gabe Butler. That is your top 10.
You're going to see these guys get back. They're too wide now, so they're going to be coming to the green flag shortly. You can see there the lights are off on the pace car. And we're going to get back to running here on lap 21. It'll be lap 22 when they cross the line.
Again, we appreciate you tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network of the showing of the Jimmy Crowe Sr. Robert Jordan 250 here at Daytona. You get an opportunity to like and follow our channel. We will bring you other races similar to this with all the different tracks. I think on Wednesday we'll be bringing you a next gen race with the Tech for Troops Cup Series at Kansas, and on Thursday we kick off our coverage of the iNASCAR League, which we will be covering the duels at Daytona. Again, like and subscribe, and we will bring you some updates to remind you to attend and watch those events. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we are about to get back underway. I think.
Looks like it.
Is it Steve Korosek? I'm not sure. It's either Steve Korosek or Sebastian who will be the control car. I think it is Sebastian.
Yep. There we go.
There we go. We are back underway here at Daytona. A good restart.
So we got about 6 green flag laps that last run. Let's see if we can double that this time. I think we need guys to just settle down, stay in their lane for a while, and just let the laps tick by for a little bit until we get settled in, get in a rhythm.
I think that's going to be super hard for these guys, and not that they're and not that they're overly aggressive, Jeff, but these guys, these are some great racers, and
they really are. They've
got some great skills, and they're willing to take a chance or two to get a little bit farther up in the back and in the field. But again, you've only got one quick repair. You can fix some minor damage and still get back out there. But a lot of times these big events will take you out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get any front end damage at all, it can have a huge impact on the way your car handles and on, more importantly, the speed of your car. You just, on a track like this, everything's about aero. And if you get too much drag from having some front end damage, it makes it difficult to keep up with the car in front of you. You see a gap there for that white colored car falling behind. Not to say that he has damage, but that's what happens. You get separated from that car in front of you. You have a hard time being able to keep up with the draft at that point.
And you're hoping that guy behind you can make up that difference and push you along.
Yep.
But very often, if they've got a run, they're just going to hang out.
Yep. And that's what you see happening a lot of times. Somebody gets a really good run. They don't want to slow up for the car in front of them, so they go to that middle lane to keep their momentum going. Right
this
at the
is
front.
right at the
Big
front.
Spin.
77 was involved again.
Was the 77.
But I don't believe he may have got a tap from behind. Let's go back and take a look if we can. This has got a lot of folks involved. Let's take a little bit of a different look here. Well, look at that. So let's back that up just a little bit. All right, so you heard me talking about earlier that term netcode. You may see a big unfortunate example of what that looks like right here. So the 77's got the 27 of Korosek behind him, just right there, no contact. The 25 is down low, no contact, not close. The 25 was coming up, but for no reason, the 77 spins around.
Yeah, that was a perfect example of netcode. 27 had a little bit of a run, and the computer assumed.
88 is unfortunately
Gabe
involved.
Butler again.
Just a lot of damage here. A lot of damaged cars. Most of it, for a lot of guys, appears to be relatively minor, but they'll head down pit road and just see what that looks like.
That's one of the advantages of this next-gen car in real life and in the sim, which tries to make it as realistic as possible. They're very durable. You can take a medium hit and that car will give and then pop right back out again. As far as body damage goes, you got to be really careful. If you get hit, take a direct hit to the suspension, it'll make a mess of things. But just body damage, these cars are relatively stout.
All right, so that brings out our fifth caution of the night. All right, let's see where we are here. So a number of guys did not come in on that last pit stop. That means pretty much nearly our entire top 10 did not come in. So Marin, Fries, Maines, Ward, Nagels, English, Michael Carpenter, Elliott, Swope, John Drudris, and Dylan Jones are all your top 10. They stayed out. Again, that's probably the best move just to keep up with track position. There are still some guys in the pits probably making some repairs. That's Austin Green, Rick Seabrans, Alex Hill, Steve Harry, and Justin Mills are all in the pits. A couple drivers are still in there. A number of folks are coming down onto pit roads. Heath Job, Sean Stevens, Kenneth McCullough Jr., and Gabe Butler are all coming down onto pit road. But good opportunity to, if you've got to make some repairs, time to do that.
Yep. Right now we are averaging a caution every 5 laps. So
yeah, that is not, I'm sure, what Jimmy had envisioned for today.
No, Jimmy would love it if it was a caution-free race, and I don't blame him for that at all. Unfortunately, in this tight racing like this, it's tough to get through. You have the guys that are, like you said earlier, Rick, very talented drivers, but not afraid to be aggressive. And just today, that doesn't seem to be working out at the beginning of the race. I'd love to have some longer green flag runs, because then I think the cars would spread out a little bit more. You'd have multiple mini packs instead of one big pack.
All right, we are getting ready to go back to racing here. Lights are off.
I get a kick out of listening to the driver's channel on the intercoms, and guys are bantering back and forth right now about it's not fun to go single file, and Jimmy Crow said, "Well, you call this fun?" He does not like the yellow flags. Here we go.
All right, we are back up to speed. Sebastian Marin wheels the control car, leading this pack. Just as a note, Jeff, that did cycle the 77 all the way back into 36th position.
Oh, what?
Keeping on a number of different parts of this event.
And here we have the inside lane having a bit of an advantage here. Well, and then they all move up to the outside. Kind of let somebody hung out to dry there in the middle, and he just went backwards.
Yeah, a little bit of contact with the wall, but that lead pack of 5 cars there, Marin, Maines, Fries, Ward, and possibly English, has really got the momentum going. Looks like a car just disappeared. That was interesting. That inside line right now is, I think that's Michael Swope and, Michael Carpenter and Elliott Swope. But nope, just as we said it, they jumped up to the high line.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I don't know what it is, but you see those 2 cars, the 2 IWM cars that have identical paint schemes running nose to tail there. And on the stream, I can see that. But if I go to the iRacing feed, those cars look totally different. I may not have my paint program set up properly. Trade Paints is not helping me today.
All right, Sebastian Marin is currently out front. Garrett Maines, Kevin Fries, Anthony English, Cody Nagels, Dylan Jones. That's your top 6. They are running that high line. And that seems to be the best way around this track today. We'll see if we can get that that lower line moving. That's the, it shows as 6. That's Cody Nagels down there on that lower line. He's got some good help behind him. And we are beginning to see the packs begin to, the lead pack is here, but there's another pack that's beginning to develop behind them. They need to hold it together to catch it back up to the lead if they get a chance to stay with this lead pack.
Yeah, I was just thinking that right before you mentioned them, they were running nose to tail, and that's how they're going to catch back up. And then all of a sudden they broke it up and tried to pass each other, and that just causes them to fall back. You can see the results in that outside line has several more cars than the inside line, and they're able to just hold on to that advantage.
we're keeping an eye on this field as we are now entering into lap 33 here at Daytona of a scheduled 100. Now gone, it's almost 3 wide. When someone drops down, it's so easy for someone to slip outside or under them, and unfortunately that creates a three wide event here, and it is super hard to make it around this track in these cars 3 wide.
Oh, absolutely. You can see them having difficulty 2 wide. Well, there's some guys experimenting with the middle, but all that happened is the rest of them followed them down, and they ended up staying 2 wide.
Let's go on board with Cody Nagels here. Just give you a driver's perspective of what these guys are actually dealing with in the car. This is the 6 of Cody Nagels. Right now he's running that lower line. You can see those drivers in the higher line moving up.
You can see just the micro movement he's making in that steering wheel on the straightaways. It's from that air buffeting him that's coming off that car in front of him.
That's Guerrero in front. You saw where he just barely tapped him.
I love these in-car cameras. They show so much of what's going on. You can see those cars moving around, almost touching there, the 25, and then that black car in front. Can't see the number on it, but just amazing kind of a view that these cameras that are in the cars can show us.
That has settled down. I'm knocking wood when I say that. So.
See those cars towards the back of the pack changing lanes. They feel like that outside's going to go faster than the inside, and that's their opportunity to advance, hopefully.
There is now a significant gap between this lead pack and the group of drivers who are farther back. Trying to go back and see.
That last camera shot, that's a great shot of them there. Shows that these guys now are back into a single line, trying to push each other to get back caught up with that big pack up front. Oh, one guy jumps out on his own.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot be successful. That's McCullough, Joshua McCullough, that's currently out there running. Got Kenneth McCullough, who's in that 28. He is the lead car in this group. But these guys have got to stick together, nose to tail, whether they ride the high line. Oh, caution's out, caution's out. Another big wreck here at Daytona. All right, we will try to unpack this. And it happened up at the front. We've seen a couple incidents so far today, Jeff, that have happened right at the front. Let's back that up a little bit. Was that another Netcode incident? 23 is being pushed by the 31. No one's touching him. That's Sebastian Marin. And another netcode that's has caused him to come around right in front of everybody else, unfortunately. Lots of damage to the 31. A lot of guys caught up in this incident. All right, that's brought the entire field down onto pit road. Jeff, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I think I can't hear you. So what we saw, here we are at lap 39. Everybody has come down. Another incident of netcode has unfortunately spun the leader out in front of the entire field.
Yeah, and then when they came down pit road, had somebody that overshot their pit trying to get stopped and spun around, was facing backwards, and caused a little bit of havoc on pit road there.
All right, we are at lap 39 here, our sixth caution of the day, or what again appears to be a computer glitch within the iRacing platform.
Boy, you really hate to see that when, especially at the front of the field like that. You got good drivers, fast cars, and then to have netcode cause a problem. But these guys have been on iRacing for a while. They know that's a possibility, and that we just have to deal with it. That's the way it is.
That's correct. Well, now that we've gone back down pit road, that leaderboard has once again shuffled. Cody Nagels is currently showing in first, Jude Conrad in second, Anthony English in third, Michael Carpenter in fourth, Dylan Jones in fifth, Gabe Butler in sixth, Ray Rittenauer in seventh, Zach Range in eighth, Kenneth McCullough Jr. is showing in ninth, and Christopher McCullough is in 10th. So the field's beginning to get together 2 by 2. A few drivers are still in the pits, getting any necessary repairs done, and probably a last splash of fuel. You just never know. This race could go green the rest of the way out, and so every drop you've got in now at lap 39 makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm having trouble with my sim racing app's scoring tower. It shows Cody Nagel in the lead, but it shows that he has not pitted yet, which would mean he's gone 40 laps, which I don't think is a possibility.
No, Cody pitted on that last go around.
Yeah, for some reason, this is acting up pretty severely on me today again.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast event of the Jimmy Crowe Sr. Robert Jordan 250 here at Daytona. We appreciate you following along and keeping up with this event for a great cause. We're celebrating the 3rd year anniversary of Jimmy Crowe Sr.'s passing, and Robert Jordan, another iRacing veteran, passing last month. So we are back underway here. Cody Nagels is in charge as we get restarted. a few folks have commented on YouTube, and I'll second it. I've never seen Netcode as bad as it has been over this past month. This has just been crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've seen it in a few of the races I've been involved in, running in, and I don't know if it's a result of the latest update or if that's just the luck of the draw.
On some of the message boards, there have been some comments about the popularity of iRacing and some of these servers getting overwhelmed, but we're still seeing some great racing here today, and we're kind of watching through the pack. Right now we're single file with Dylan Jones out front. Ray Rittenauer is in second. Ray has got Kenneth McCullough behind him. James Mayer, it's the first time we mentioned James Mayer. He's now up top four. The dude Conrad, Zach Range. And outside lines beginning to form up. Looks like you've got a number of guys trying to figure out where they need to be. That 043 is leading that outside line. That 043 belongs to Zach Range. He's got a little bit of help with the 6 and the 03 behind him. And Gabe Butler is there.
Yeah, Garrett Maines in the he's scored as the 12, but I think you said he's the 87 on the car. He was our leader the early part of the race, and he is back in 20th position right now. So he's got some work to do to get himself back up to the front, but we're not even at the halfway point yet. So there's plenty of time for some of these guys that have gone towards the back to work their way back up front.
Lap 44 is in the books here. We are creeping up on halfway. Looking mid-pack
yeah, this time,
here.
Yeah, that's kind of turned things around where earlier in the race we were seeing that outside line stay organized and pull out into the lead. Now we're seeing that on the inside line. That low line is staying much more organized, has more cars in it, and has been holding on to that lead for several laps now. Although you can see the outside line trying to make a comeback.
I think it's really about who is pushing who.
Absolutely.
You've got some great experienced racers up front. I mean, Dylan Jones in that white 11. He is got a 4,600 I rating. Cody Nagel's over 5,000. Ray Rittenauer over 4,000, 4,700. There's Rick Sebring's almost 4,200. There's some experienced guys. I know if you're not familiar with the iRacing rating, certainly it may be unfamiliar. We call out those numbers, but it's basically from like 500 to 10,000. Once you get past 4,000, 5,000, you've got some really experienced drivers. And to have Garrett Maines in the group, who's now back up to 7, he's got a 93.51. You've got some, tremendous experience. So I saw.
Think about that.
Go ahead.
Think about that. We were just talking about Garrett Maines being in 20th, and right before I said that, he was in 21st. So he's made up 14 positions in just a couple laps. That's some pretty significant increase. So doing a great job working his way up to the front again.
So speaking of the front, you got Steve Kornacek showing out in front. Cody Nagel's in the 6. You got Gabe Butler up and Rick Seabrooks, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that lower line.
Yeah, Gabe Butler in that 88 is another example. We saw him caught up in a couple of those accidents early on, but yet he's been able to get his car fixed enough and back out there and is now running in third spot.
So as a driver, you're in this, you're in this nose to tail. You picked your lane. You're going to stay in it. Your visibility is so hard. You can see so little. You have your mirrors to look out of, but they're not always accurate. Try to get an in-car with someone who's kind of buried a little bit deeper back. So we can
Yeah, the in-car camera shows so much. I mean, you see, hello, look at that. He cannot see but the car right in front of him, and occasionally when that car goes wide, you saw that white Ford Mustang go a little wide there, then he can see the car in front of him, but that's about it. You can see that right lane fairly well. Now we're looking at the right lane, that number 4 car of Rick Sebrans, and just there's somebody in front of him, in front of the 88 car with Gabe Butler. If the car in front of Gabe all of a sudden slows up, Gabe's going to slow up, and Rick's going to be right into his rear bumper in a hurry. So very, very tough visibility here.
You saw them dancing a little bit there. There was certainly an issue. Again, coming off the exiting corners, that makes it super hard to keep that car in check.
Yeah, the other thing, when you can have a run, but when you start going side to side like that, you get more wind and then less wind, more wind and then less wind on your nose. Makes your car not only handle different, but it affects the speed and the closing rate of that car as well.
Another thing you'll notice is you'll see their RPMs in their dash, popping up and then dropping off, popping up. That's the driver actually feathering the throttle. Let's see if we can bring up dashboard here, so you can see his speeds in the corner, 192.
You can see him get a run there and get all the way up to 196. Drop down to 189.
Unfortunately,
he gets into that sucker hole.
Yep. He's dropped into the middle there. And
boy, we saw how much that affected his speed.
Yep, and unfortunately, that is not a safe place to be. We've seen this nothing but trouble to be 3 wide here at Daytona. Car was just in the wall.
Yeah,
Super easy for bad things to happen here.
Yeah, those guys in the center do not want to be there. You do not want to be running 3 wide at Daytona for very long. That's an invitation to disaster right there. But these guys really, they're past the halfway mark. They want to start moving up if they haven't been able to so far.
We're keeping an eye middle of the pack here because it's super easy to have something go wrong. You can see that little bit of smoke that puffs up there. Very often, that's a car who has brushed the wall.
Just heard Zach Range come on the radio and tell whoever was in front of him to pick a lane, please. He does not like the weaving back and forth going on in front of him.
I think that maybe the 77 of Hill. Zach Range is in the 043. I think he's got the 77 of Alex Hill in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex is one that's not afraid of that middle lane. We've seen him.
So yellow is cautions out again here. That was the 6 of Cody Nagels going around. That caution happened just while we were looking looking at that. A number of the IWM guys were involved. I see Elliot Swope. I think that Matt Swope was involved. Let's go see if we can find the beginning of this. Again, up at the front.
Oh, looks like he got tagged, and
That's the
see
6
it.
of Cody Nagels.
I don't know if he got tagged by Gabe Butler or what happened there, but I don't think Cody would turn hard right into the wall like that on his own. Yeah, you see Gabe get a run right there.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a bump from the 4. And
Yep.
unfortunately, there's a little bit of contact with the right rear, and he may not have been square when he came up and tapped the 6. That squared up, unfortunately, and spun the 6. The field then drops down low. Cody Nagels is driving backwards on the track. Doing a good job holding it together. That's Rick Sebrans in the 4. And unfortunately,
Ooh, see
that
the
6
87
is
sneak by.
77, clips the back of the 6, spinning him forward. Unfortunately, the other driver tags him, and 82 of Matt Swope comes back up on the track, spins. A number of drivers have decided to take the scenic route through the grass. Okay. All right, so here we are. It is now our 7th caution at lap 55.
Yeah, that last incident was, we saw a lot of that last night in the Clash. If you were watching FS1, watching the NASCAR race last night, a lot of one car bumps another car, which bumps into somebody else, and that person spins. So a lot of times it's not like in that case, it wasn't Gabe Butler necessarily, but the car behind him bumped Gabe, which gave him just enough of a shove to get into Cody Nagels in front of him. And at that point, he's a passenger.
Well, with our 7th caution, Jeff, I think at this point we have seen a number of the same drivers involved, and there's going to be some attrition here.
I think you're right. They get if they get a little bit of damage every time they are in an incident, then that's going to add up. If they're not able to take the time to get it fixed and they just try to run through it, well, then they get bumped again, and just makes it very, very difficult.
You've got.
Fortunately,
go ahead.
Fortunately, we're past the halfway point now. Lap 55, hopefully going back green, either lap 57 or 58. And we had a good run that time. Really, we had close to 15 laps of green flag racing. So I think that was our longest green flag run of the day. I think we'd had 12 laps was our longest prior to that. That was our 7th caution of the day. No green flag pit stops, unfortunately. I would love to see at least one round of green flag pit stops coming up. I think that would give us a lot of separation of the cars, plus a lot of entertainment value. It's quite the sight for those of you that haven't watched a lot of iRacing. It's quite a sight to see a whole group of cars pit at the same time. Nobody wants to pit by themselves. They want to pit with as large a group as they can, and hopefully all come out at the same time so they can have their own pack and get their way back up front.
Absolutely. And I think right now we've most of the field, well, the entire field, based on what we can see in our timing board, have come down onto pit road and refueled. Here at lap 54, a few drivers. Let's see. I think We have 36 cars on the lead lap. Elliott Swope is currently the last car on the lead lap. He has not pitted since lap 38, but the majority of everyone else pitted that last time on 54, and that makes it very interesting. I think my math could be wrong, but they may have, if this stays green, then we could have just one more pit stop and wrap up the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a possibility.
Okay, back underway here. Lap 56. Steve Korosek takes us and shows us the way. He's got the 087 of Ray Rittenauer on the outside. And he has, just like that, jumped up to the outside. The 11 of Dylan Jones dropped down and wound up caught in the middle. He has not found a way to get back in line. And now we are 3 wide on the backstretch, headed into turn 3, which is never a good thing. More shakeups at the front.
They call that center lane the sucker hole, because if you get in there and the inside and outside lanes are well formed up, it's like it's sucking you backwards as they freight train around you.
The caution's back out. I've got Alex Hill crashing. Vincent Guerrero off the track. Let's try to see just what happened back here.
The 8th caution on lap 57. Cars have come across the line, so we are officially on lap 58 now.
So we're watching replay.
Oh!
Let's back that up a bit. I think there was something happening in front.
Yep, and the 77 wasn't aware of it.
So you can see a number of cars are off. I think that's Vincent Guerrero in the 14 there. He's off the track. Then let's drop back to Alex Hill. He just rear ends the 16 and then spins.
Yep.
All right, 8th caution of the day. Right now, just a couple of drivers are making their way down onto pit road. Kevin
Looks
Freese.
like all the leaders stayed out.
Yep. Della Vecchia, Marin, DeRudris range. About the lower, about 10, 15 cars have made it down onto pit road. I'm sure a number of those were involved and are trying to get some damage repaired. So the 77 come down. Bit of activity on pit road.
One of the guys on the radio was just talking about this next gen car versus the Xfinity car, and how he was in that incident, had very little damage as a result of it. And he said, if I'd have been in that same incident with an Xfinity car, I would have had 6 or 7 minutes worth of damage. So there's a lot of good things about this next generation Cup car. It is a little tougher to drive. It has a tendency to snap loose on you more so than the old Cup car did, but it's so durable in most cases that just you keeps these guys in the race when in a different series they might be out or might be 10, 12 laps down. Well, we still see Gabe Butler and Garrett Maines, Steve Korosek, Rick Seabrans all running close to the front. They've been up there for the majority of the race. We saw Garrett and Gabe both have to take some runs at the back for a while, but they've been able to work themselves back up to the front. A few of our IWM comrades still doing well. Michael Carpenter's up there in the top 15 or 16. Matt Swope, just a few spots behind him. So it's been an interesting race so far. I don't know that I've seen a race with these drivers have this many cautions, but at the same time, man, there's been some competitive racing out there.
There has. In fact, that's one of the highlights of today's event. Here we are, lap 60 in our 8th caution, but we have just seen some great battles up at the front as these drivers have worked their way through. Some attempting to survive a 3-wide incident, but for the most part, just some great competitive driving.
Yeah, absolutely. As that pace car makes its way up the backstretch, we've seen, and we'll see it again here as soon as they go green. Cars changing lanes, moving around, trying to work an advantage, and it makes for an exciting day as a spectator.
All right, so I believe our control car is the 28. It could be Anthony English or Kevin McCullough Jr. I'm not sure if the leader gets lane choice today.
Yeah, I'm not either. iRacing's calling it Anthony English, so I'll go with that.
All right, field has gotten settled up. We have 36 cars on the lead lap. Alex Hill is the last car on the lead lap. And we are back underway here at Daytona.
Oh,
and
here
we
we
are
go, three wide
on the
Oh,
backstretch.
You can tell the laps are winding down.
Oh, car's wrecking. The 5 gets spun around.
Oh. That 3 wide will do it to you.
That's Bobby Forbes in the 5.
Ninth caution of the day.
Looks like there's a little bit of contact. Let's see what happens. There's a car in the wall in front of him. And that, of course, that's just going to suck him back. He's going to get out of the throttle.
Yeah,
and
the 5's going to lift.
5 lifts, and then the 82 had no place to go. Taps him and unfortunately collects him and takes him into the wall. 46 is like, oh gosh, there's a car in front of me, and boom, and then he gets tapped from behind by Cody Nagels. So, and it's still continuing here.
Then Cody gets tapped from behind by the 32.
The 72 of Stevens, and then the 16 of Elliott Swope is doing his best. He's locking up his tires to avoid any contact with the 5.
Looks like he was able to get woed up in time to not make any contact, or at least not serious contact.
Looks pretty close. So here we are, the 9th caution of the day, lap 62 of 100.
Yeah, you can see a lot of those guys are going to come in to the pits, if nothing else, and to change tires.
With the way that this was setting up with 3 wide at the front, I would have bet you anything that is where this incident would have started, but no, it was relatively in the back.
Yeah. You can hear some, anybody that's listening to the radio channel, the driver's channel, you can hear some tempers starting to get a little raw now.
Well, they've after 9 cautions, and some of it's come from Netcode, which the driver can't control. But two things the driver can control is if an incident is happening, you see things happening in front of you, get on the brakes, slow it down.
Yep.
Pick a choice and move forward. But a number of incidents are there just because of aggressive driving. But here we are, 63 laps in the books. We'll probably go back to green around lap 65. So we'll take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network and our showing of the Jimmy Crow Sr. Robert Jordan 250 here at Daytona. We know you have a choice on your Sunday afternoon as to what you want to watch, but we appreciate you tuning in. Also, for those who may be watching this on replay, we thank you for that, and we hope that you like and subscribe and stay up to date on other events that this broadcast channel can bring you.
And with the mentioning the IWM Broadcast Network, the IWM Racing League drivers that are running in this race today, all 4 of them are still on the lead lap. So glad to see that. Guys given a positive representation of the IWM League.
Only one driver is still in the pits. Oh, I take that back, just a couple. Cody Nagels is the last car, I think, on the lead lap. David Bond may be, but he's currently in the pits. We have a couple retirees. Steve Harvey has retired, and Dean Wilkinson has retired. But that's it. Out of the 41 starters, 39 are still active and in the event.
Going to go green on lap 65, which means we've got 35 laps to go when the cars cross the stripe.
They still, a number of drivers have not pitted. Pretty much half the field is kind of balanced. Some came in, some didn't. But they know that they've got to stretch out this fuel tank for as long as they can, so they can go to the end on one more refill.
Absolutely. Looking forward to an exciting restart here.
Absolutely. And you got some great drivers up front. Rick Seabrans, Ray Ridenour, Steve Korosek, Jude Conrad, Garrett Maines. Jason Maines is up there. You've got just a good group of guys out leading this event. All right, here we are, lap 65. Great restart. Both lines solid. That's the 28 of McCullough with the 087 of Ray Rittenauer pushing behind. And now we're seeing some jumble up on the back stretch where we now have that third lane coming together. A little bit of drama in the back. Trying to keep an eye. So the 01 was off the track racing surface and he was down on the apron. How he made it back up without taking out anybody is a mystery to me. Oh, wrecking in the back, 32. I think that is That's Michael Carpenter, unfortunately, collected in that with the 6 of Nagels. Michael's got significant damage on the front of that car. He has no nose. And that will be our 10th caution of the day. Let's back that up a little bit. Looks like he may have. So this is what we were talking about earlier, where you are, in effect, you've got 3 lines happening right there in front of you. We're focusing on the red and white iRacing Warriors car, the 32 below, driven by Michael Carpenter. He's got the 44 of English behind him. 44 goes up and looks like may have some contact. Nothing yet. As you're coming off turn 4, the car begins to flatten out, getting a little bit more squirrely. The 32 goes low, and unfortunately, the 44 caught the right rear. He then collects the 43, the 143, 043, and unfortunately gets together. There's some more contact with the 052, and then he gets clobbered by the 41 of Osborne. Forbes then tags the back, and there are some cars going through the infield. But that is our 10th caution.
Yep.
We don't know. We'll go back and take a peek at Carpenter's vehicle. Looks like Michael did a good job. I'm guessing he saved his quick repair. So you saw in the incident, we saw the front end of that car disappear. And now as we look closer, that look, he's all back together. Well, that's strictly because he had a quick repair, which allows you basically a do-over.
Yep. Good for him. He's involved in that. Wasn't really any fault of his own. Just got tagged from behind. And thankfully he had a quick repair left to be able to get back out there. Probably stayed on the lead lap as well.
Currently the only cars running who are not on the lead lap. Well, there's 2 more still in the pits. We'll see how they shake out, but I've got David Bond, John Ward. They're off the lead lap, as well as Justin Mills. 2 cars, Harry and Wilkinson, who have retired. I'm guessing the 77 of Hill, who's in the pit still, is he's got over. It's been there nearly 2 minutes. He's making repairs, and he is back out.
I'll tell you what, that's amazing to for all the cautions. I mean, 10 cautions now, and to only have 2 or 3 cars a lap down or multiple laps down. That's pretty amazing. That's smart drivers that know how to manage the situation. Know when to use the fast repair, know when to sit in the pits and get some work done. Sometimes it's tempting early in the race to use that fast repair and get back out there, but that can really come back to bite you later on.
So what I show is Ray Rittenauer sitting on top of the leaderboard and in control of this restart. This will be a restart on lap 69 here, with leaving us just 31 laps to go to wrap up this event here.
listening to the driver's radio here, you can tell some of these drivers race in real life as well as here on iRacing. So that's got to help them in as far as their abilities and their competitiveness when they're running here on the iRacing simulator.
This forming back out, and you know that longest line is pretty long.
Yeah, it really is.
And we are back underway. Ray Rittenauer leads this group down. You see
Boy,
Conrad dropped right behind him.
Yeah, he knew that inside lane was going to have the advantage. He wanted to stay up front.
Steve Korosek is leading that outside line. Big gap. That won't last long as that freight train begins to get it together and will catch right back up to these leaders. A lot of drama going back in the field as we have a lot of lane changing and switching up going on. Drivers trying to figure out on this restart, where do I need to be? Is it inside? Is it outside? Hopefully not the middle.
And that's one of the things that's so difficult for a driver. We showed you earlier on the in-car view how little visibility you have. So sometimes you don't know which lane has the run, which lane doesn't. So you're just going off your gut. You're saying, I think it's the outside lane that's got the run, but I don't know. And then that line that has the run changes. About the time you think it's the outside lane, I'm famous for picking which line is moving too late. And I move to it just as the run is ending and then find myself going backwards. So it's a difficult choice. It comes with experience on being able to make good decisions with that.
Well, Garrett Maines has found his way back up to the front, followed by Steve Korosek. You can see as we enter. Oh, car hitting the wall. The 11's squirrely. It's breaking up.
They almost kept it together.
They tried. So that is the 11. That's Dylan Jones.
Shoo. You couldn't keep it up the track.
Came down the track onto the apron. That is our 11th caution here at lap 71.
Well, I don't think I'm going to get my wish today of having a green flag pit stop. Oh, another one of the IWM cars involved there.
Let's make sure that was the right flag. It was not. Let's go back.
Okay. Yeah, that was the caution prior, wasn't it, where we saw Michael Carpenter get tagged?
Yep. 1 second here as we... Here we go. All right, so right now we're focusing on the 11th of Dylan Jones. That's the white car.
That's weird that he, he took a sharp left turn.
So he's in line. You can see him kind of following nose to tail with the car in front. And then the car in front tags the wall, slows him down. He bails, unfortunately, maybe a bit too aggressively, and then had some contact with Gabe Butler on the right rear. Again,
Gabe
with
Butler trying to stay out of that car in front of him. He comes down on him, and that just then it goes crazy.
Yep. Yep, lots going on. A lot of guys involved. Most of that tire smoke is those guys pretty much locking up their tires to avoid getting collected. And pit road is now very busy.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Looks like everybody's coming.
Not everybody.
No. Now, though, everybody that has come can now make it on fuel. So, barring any incidents, they won't have a need to stop again.
Everybody has come in except for, I think, Cody Nagels. He pitted last on lap 67. I'm not sure what his math is, but he may feel he's got enough. Not sure. But here we are, lap 73. I'm guessing we'll probably go back to green around lap 75.
Yep. 75, 76, maybe 74. We'll see. They've traditionally been going 3 laps under the caution. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll cross a stripe at lap 74. The light will go off, and the restart should be 75, I think. But, you know,
Okay.
that tells us we got 25 laps to go. That's if you pitted and got fuel, you're good. Now, my math says we're not going to make it to the end under green flag conditions, but you never know. It's possible.
That's right. It is possible.
All right. Number of drivers have dropped back down, possibly to either elicit some repairs or top off their fuel. And the lights are off on our pace car, which means we will be getting back underway momentarily. So I know we keep talking about it, but until prior to these events occurring, we've had some great racing going on, and it's just really astounding how these drivers are able to keep it together, especially coming out of turn 2 and onto the backstretch, and then obviously on 4 across the front stretch. But thank you for tuning in to the Jimmy Crow Sr. Robert Jordan 250. We appreciate you tuning in while we enjoy a bit of iRacing, but also celebrating the life of 2 friends who were instrumental and were well known in the iRacing community, especially in league racing. Jimmy Crow Sr. and Robert Jordan, who passed just this past month. So we're hoping that these events and others like them, as we celebrate our friends who have passed, makes a difference.
Absolutely. Starter getting ready to wave the green flag as the pace car comes off. Cody Nagel's upset a little bit on the radio there. I'm not certain what about.
He is running that lower line.
Yeah, he was upset about something to do with the pace car, and it sounded like
wrecking.
He thought, oh boy.
We are wrecking right up front again.
There it is. I thought they kept it together, but they didn't.
That's Jason Maines. Somehow I saw Elliott Swope, Bobby Forbes, Gabe Butler, J.R. Miller, all involved. Not sure what happened, but I'm guessing it's probably... Well, 77's involved.
That seems to be a recurring theme today.
Well, here's what I see right away. 25 laps to go. We're 3 wide. We just got restarted. That is the one car. I think that's James. That is Jason Maines up front. He's got now the 77 has decided he's also going to split those lanes. And he continues to come right up and drift up. I think he's going to tag the left rear of Mayer. He does, and that causes him to spin down, contact the one. Mayer's in the wall. The one tries to save it, but then he gets clipped in his left rear by the 77, taking out the 17, the 78. The 82 goes low, and now you've got the rest of the field coming up. That's Mayer again involved. The 23 of Sebastian Marin comes up. There's contact now with Guerrero in the 14. Yeah.
I will say in the 77's defense, that looked like it could have been Netcode. We were maybe a little too far away to know for sure, but I thought I still saw daylight between those two cars. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now while a lot of cars make their way down pit road. Some cars in need of repair. Some guys just wanting to top off on fuel to make it to the end. We have 24 to go.
Yep, number of guys on pit road now coming off. That's Kevin Freeze out there getting some repairs made. Don't know exactly how damaged some of these cars are. That's Michael Carpenter coming off. John DeRudris is still in the pits. Elliot Swope is still in the pits. Sebastian Marin still in the pits. Vicente Guerrero. I think I've got that better. And then Danny Barnes is coming off. So a lot of guys getting some repairs made here. The 12th caution of the day. And we will go back to
33 just going down pit road there.
All right, that's Steve Korosek and a few others riding the apron there. There is some thought that that may save you a tad bit of fuel. You know, if we do have we do have 3 green-white checkers at the end here, which would extend the race a few extra laps. Probably.
Yeah, and judging from everything that we've had so far, I would not be surprised to see us use all 3.
Let's hope not. And yeah, I think that's going to wind up being potentially an issue with fueling for Cody Nagels. He went last in at lap 67.
Ooh, yeah.
So
that's he's got to go 33, 34 laps without the green light checker.
It may be perfectly okay. I think you got on a full tank of fuel, you've got 40 laps. At 70, you've got 30. That's possible again, but then again, if it's
yeah, if he's saving under these yellows, then he could be okay. But boy, it's going to be close.
All right, 23 laps to go. Be 22 at the stripe. Our 12th caution of the day.
Some of the drivers we've been talking about a lot today, you've heard us talk about Cody Nagels. He's currently the control car in the lead of this race. Garrett Maines, who led quite a bit at the front, is back up into the 3rd spot. Dude Conrad is in 7th. Rick Seabrans, we've talked about some, he's in 9th. Matt Swope is the first of the IWM team drivers. He's in 11th. Some other guys, Gabe Butler, who was up front earlier, is back in the 17th spot. But we've seen guys make up ground. We saw Garrett Maines make up a lot of ground earlier. So it is still possible for some of these guys towards the mid-pack to get their way back up front again.
Pace car has dropped off. Waiting on Cody Nagels, who is in charge of this restart. Back underway. Good restart. Both lanes started pretty good. Almost side by side. A lot of movement on that lower lane.
Yeah, you can tell when both lanes get a good restart, there's not a lot of movement. You just saw Cody go up to that outside lane thinking that outside lane's going to have the best run.
That's Garrett Maines on that low side. In the car is marked as 31. He's got Ray Rittenauer behind him, and then Garrett moves up to the outside lane. This is kind of inverse what we've seen in the past on this track. There is some three-wide action at the back of the middle of the pack. That could prove to be treacherous.
And you see that outside lane picking up steam.
Well, with all that, there we go. That is what we just talked about.
My.
I guarantee you that was a result of all of that three-wide action. Christopher McCullough, Elliott Swope, Jimmy Reynolds. I don't know where this occurred. Give us a second here to kind of look back through the field. I see something happening.
33 in there. Oh, maybe that's not the 33. Maybe that's can't read that number. Is that a 23?
We're just trying to figure out where this occurred, and if not, we'll just talk it up to our 13th incident of the day and call it a day.
Yeah.
Taking a pretty long view here. Yeah, there it is. It's that three wide again. That's the 41.
Let's see why he got up there. At the 03?
That's 03 of McCullough. And to the outside is the 41 of
Jeremy Osborne.
Yep,
Yep, Jeremy Osborne.
'03 moves up, and there's definite contact with the 03.
There's definite contact there.
And tags the 82 of Swope.
Gets
Dixon.
the 411. He's able to hold it together, though. Gets in the grass. Oh!
Yep. There's a lot of drama going on.
Yeah. I see the front end come off of that 41 car. And then there's just chaos behind him. When you see that much white smoke, that's not a good thing.
Nope. All right. So that's our 13th, our lucky 13th caution of the night. 19 laps to go, probably closer to 16 by the time we get this all sorted out.
I record our cautions on a legal pad here, and I have never gotten to the bottom of the page, but I'm getting close today, unfortunately. 13 cautions is quite a bit, but hey, in between those cautions, we've had some great racing. Unfortunately, it's hard to focus on that with so many yellow flags.
All right, so this is wrapping up. We are making progress here. 19 laps to go. Again, probably close to 17 by the time we get restarted. Looking at our leaderboard, you've got Garrett Main still showing out in front. Cody Nagels is there, Steve Korosek, Andrew Navarro, Anthony English, Kenneth McCullough Jr., Ray Rittenauer, Austin Green, Jude Conrad, and Rick Seabrins. That is your top 10. Now, my concern is at this point, Jeff, is that there's a good bit of drivers who are probably now running significantly damaged race cars.
I think you're right, and we're going to see them drop back pretty quickly at this restart. We'll be able to pick who has damage and who doesn't.
Looks like we've got 32 cars that are now on the lead lap. You've got 2 that are in the pits for some extended repairs. That's Dylan Jones of the 11, that white 11 car. We saw the 82 of Matt Swope. Both those guys were, caught up in that event. They were not a part of it, but well, they were unfortunately collected by it. So they've got some repairs to make before they can get back out.
Yeah, I know we've said it several times, but it's really unfortunate. That's one of the drawbacks of pack racing like we see on super speedways, is when an accident happens, you may not have anything to do with it. You may be 100 yards behind it, but when there's chaos in front of you and you're going 190 miles an hour, you're going to get in the middle of it very quickly.
All right. We are getting this field back collected here to go back to green next time by.
See guys running down there on that apron trying to keep their fuel tank level, keep some of that fuel getting to the car.
There's Cody Nagels on the outside there, weaving back and forth, trying to put some heat in his tires. Your front four in Mains, Nagels, Korosek, and Navarro, as that green flag is up and the drivers are underway here as it flies in this restart with 17 laps to go in the Jimmy Gross Sr. Robert Jordan 250.
Start about partway back because you saw 2 guys from the outside lane go immediately to that low, try to improve their position. I don't know if they actually improved it or not because that outside lane is staying pretty organized. Garrett Mains up at the front, and caution's out again. Wow.
David Bond, possibly, I think was involved. Let's go back and take a quick look, just see what happened here.
Sounds like somebody checked up and somebody else got into him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, there's something going on up front. It probably wasn't. Oh, that is the 16 of Elliott Swope. Let's back that up. So I don't think Bond was involved. So unfortunately, it's like Swope maybe found himself.
Okay, Butler.
Yeah, in the middle. Let's kind of go. So the 88 of Butler goes up. He just got by the 03, comes right up and tags. No, he saved it, but then
Yep.
the 16 finds himself now in no man's land in the middle.
Here comes 77.
Well, looks like the 16 came down on the 03.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately collected the 88 of Butler. The 77 was not involved in that incident.
No.
78 gets involved. 16 is spinning the 01 of McCullough. 41. Yep.
Doesn't look like the 16 had a lot of damage, but he got hit in that left front wheel, so he could have a wheel problem there.
All right, number of drivers have now made their way onto pit road with just 15 laps to go.
Yeah, the further back you are in the pack, the more susceptible you are to the accordion effect. As cars start lifting and accelerating and lifting and accelerating, that just gets amplified the further back in the pack you go. People reacting to the people in front of them, and then the people in the back reacting more. And it gets very tough in the back. That's why you see so many incidents happen in the middle of the pack or towards the back, is because of that.
Yep, I feel like I almost need to requote that quote from Logano, because that's exactly what we're seeing. It's just a mess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great quote. We should put that on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, if you didn't hear it or you didn't watch the Netflix NASCAR special, you should go back and watch it. It's only 5 episodes. You can breeze through it in an afternoon. But Logano, I find it hilarious and also so true. He said that if you're running in the back with the squirrels, you are going to get your nuts busted. And I think it's not only, you've got a lot of things happening. You know, as this race winds down, you know, you're trying to make up some time. There's a bit of desperation. There's really some anger. I think that you know, the drivers just, you know, you may not have the same level of patience that you may have had at the beginning of the race. It's been a tough afternoon for a few drivers, and so mistakes happen. And you know what? It has gone on for a while. They've run a lot of laps under caution, and things happen.
As many caution laps as we've had, believe it or not, it's hard for the drivers to get a rhythm. I think, you know, they say cautions breed cautions. Well, green laps breed more green laps. The more you can get settled into a rhythm and figure out what's going on and avoid incidents like that, then the longer green runs you have. But this many cars in the field, it's not uncommon to have more yellow flags. You just have more guys making more moves, which unfortunately equals more mistakes.
Definitely can happen for sure.
Most of the guys out here, as I'm listening to the radio chatter, are keeping good attitudes and good spirits about them. Every now and then, somebody gets called a name or somebody gets chewed out for a move that they made. But I think after 14 cautions, guys are just trying to make the best of it.
Yep. So here we are, about to go back to green flag racing. 14 laps to go. Next time by, we will go back to green, which will put us with 13 laps to go to wrap up this event. Pace car brings them down off of turn 4, heading into the front stretch. Garrett Maines is in charge, and we are back to green flag racing here at Daytona.
Good clean start by the front of the pack. See a little bit of lane changing, but not too much yet.
keeping an eye out for what has been the biggest indicator of trouble, which has been 3-wide racing here. And there's a little bit of that going on right now, right here in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
That's
with 13 to
five,
go, they don't.
Five
they don't
tagged
really care.
the wall and was riding that wall high. He's still in the wall. We are 3 wide. Super hard to keep that car steady coming out of 2 and 4. Oh, and we are wrecking.
Oh boy.
That's the 4 going
They
around.
may stay green. He went down on the infield by himself, so hopefully he can stay green here.
That's Rick Seabrans. Also, I think Justin Mills was also involved.
Yeah, that middle lane forms up, then people don't stay there very long, and I can't blame them. They use it to try to gain an advantage.
Oh,
or when they
wrecking
get
again.
a run, there we go.
That's the 750. Not sure who that is.
Saw the 4 of Rick Seabrans going full speed through the grass there. I think he kept it together.
760 possibly Heath Job. Let's go back and take a super quick look at this. We're not going to spend too much time. We've probably overanalyzed a lot of these today.
Boy, that was a hard hit into that outside wall. Is that Gabe Butler?
We'll step it through and then figure out who it is. Definitely the 28.
28, okay.
Who was up at the front. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of action up at the front with these incidents. That's Kenneth McCullough Jr. And I think McCullough as well in the 03. That's Christopher McCullough may have got in the back of him. So the 03 is behind the 28. They catch up to the car in front. The 28 lifts. And it looks like the 03 tags and spins him. And then that takes out the 33, the 1. I think the 760 was just a victim of circumstance. So we've got 2
you see
McCulloughs.
all the front end damage on that 28. That's a hard hit.
So those guys will come back down if they have a quick repair. I see the front end, his nose is missing on that 72. It does not look like he has a quick repair. That is Sean Stevens. He may have used that in a previous incident.
Oh, there he did.
Oh, he
just
did.
Just got a new front end there after he changed tires.
Well, look at that. He's back to normal.
Yep.
Okay, 10 laps to go. Probably 8 when we get back to the restart. All right, let's go back up front, see who's currently up front. Well, Mr. Garrett Maines continues to show us the way. We've pretty much just run a few laps. So Aubrey Thompson commented, said, I bet Jimmy Crow is having a damn heart attack right now. Well, quite possibly.
Yeah, he was a little vocal on the radio a little bit ago.
Well, Jimmy, we love you. We know that caution-free is the way you'd like to run. This maybe have a few more cautions than what you wanted, but we've got a good turnout today, good crowd. So good showing for you, and as we memorialize your dad, Jimmy Crow Sr. and Robert Jordan. So
I would like to rewatch this race from the cockpit of Garrett Maines' car, because Garrett started out in the front, went quite a ways to the back. I know he was as far back as 21, if not further. worked his way back to the front again, and now has been leading this race for the last several laps. It's an exhibition of some great driving, great strategy. Just obvious the guy knows what he's doing. Even without seeing his license and his I rating and all the right numbers, you could just tell that he knows what he's doing. He's no stranger to super speedway racing.
Well, with 9 laps to go, probably 8 at the stripe, can we hold it together for 8 laps? I'm not sure what the Vegas line would be, but I'm pretty sure it's a no.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think I would bet against it.
So it looks like we have 28 cars still on the lead lap. The last car is the 760 of Heath Job.
With all these yellows, everybody ought to be okay on fuel, I would think.
Yeah, I think that fuel is no longer an issue. So I think Aubrey Thompson is betting that we'll have 2 more cautions. I hope you're wrong, Aubrey, but we'll see. All right, pace car is off. We're about to go back to green flag racing here at Daytona. Again, thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network of the Jimmy Crow Sr. Robert Jordan 250. Caution-filled event here, but we're hoping to get this wrapped up with just 8 laps to go. Garrett Maines leads us off, and he and Cody Nagels move up to that outside line. That line has been the most successful all day. Ray Rittenhauer takes over that low line, and with some good help with the 26, he is able to move forward and up front, keeping pace almost with that outside line. There is some contact with the wall.
You saw Garrett Maines get a little bit of a jump over that car that's pushing him from behind, and that allowed that inside lane to catch up. If they keep that outside line together, I think they'll pull ahead.
That's Cody Nagels that's sitting right behind Garrett Maines right now. There is a lot of weaving going on. I think it's just hard with these cars to keep it with these size packs. It's just a little bit more challenging for these drivers.
It really is, and I find it challenging to push in these cars.
Here we go. We're wrecking right
Cody
there. The
got
6.
Fun.
Yep. Big wreck. And that takes out a good bit of the field. Major damage.
Oh,
body parts are everywhere. We'll see how this goes. Stevens, Overstreet, Job, Korosek, Guerrero, Dixon, Nagels, Freeze, and all involved in that last incident. Okay. Well, that is our 16th caution. 6 laps to go. We'll go back to green with 4 left. Maybe 3. All right.
I know we gave that 77 of Sean Hill a little bit of a rough time at the beginning of the race, but that guy's worked himself up to 3rd place right now.
He has definitely.
Having a good run.
Yeah, absolutely. Number of drivers are making their way down onto pit road. Not sure why. A number of drivers are on pit road for an extended period of time here while they're making some repairs. We're still
Yeah,
under.
as many guys got caught up in that one. They probably need to come in and get a little bit of work done anyway to be able to make it to the finish.
Switch over to our pit road cam. Pit road is still pretty busy. You've got at least a dozen cars getting repaired there. We've had a rash of cautions over the past 20 laps here that has unfortunately relegated a number of them to the back. We have 25 cars still on the lead lap. But if they can hold it together, this restart should wrap it up.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. 5 to go right now.
We'll come across the stripe at 4, and we'll take it, the green flag, I think, at 3.
I think you're right. If we can make it 3 laps, we've done that for most of the last several pit stops, so I think we can do it.
I think we failed to show the replay on that last incident. And we are getting asked to show it.
Okay. While you're looking for it, I'll explain to the viewers how difficult this is. Rick is not only the main commentator on this broadcast, but he's also directing the video coverage of it. So when there's a accident like this, he's got to go back. While he's talking, he's got to go back, find that spot in the tape where the accident occurs, like right there, and now he'll roll it and explain to us what's happening.
All right, looks like, let's just go back just a tiny bit further. But that's the 27 of, I think that's Korosek, that's right behind the 6. There may be some, they're pushing through the corner here. And of course, he's got Garrett in front of him. So there's not much he can do. And if that car behind you is slightly off center.
Yep. Or moving like he was there. 27 was going to the right just enough to spin the 6 a little bit. And that's all over for a lot of guys.
Yep. And unfortunately, that happened right at the front. And you got a lot of cars are coming up and incidental data. You saw the 41 hit the 7 and lift it off the ground. So it happens.
Yep. Yep.
All right. That's where we were. Here's where we are. 3 laps to go at the stripe. iRacing is showing Ray Rittenauer the second up in front in the 087. Garrett Maines is there to the outside. I'm guessing leader had lane choice and Garrett took the outside.
Going to be 3 to go when they take the green. So this will not count as a green-white checker. We're still in regulation right at the moment.
Yep, 25 cars still on the lead lap. That is significant attrition. Good jump by the 087 and the 31 of Garrett Maines. That outside line begins to fill up. Ray has lost his pushing help, so he may fall back a tiny little bit. And now we're already potentially 3 wide here. We are 3 wide.
Yep.
Cars trapped in the middle. That is no man's land. That's Les Levy. He's currently running in 11th, but he is in the middle of where you don't want to be.
Yeah, he's going straight backwards, unfortunately for him.
Oh,
there we go. There we go. We didn't even get a lap that time.
yep. I think we may have, as we were going back, we may have caught it. Well, if you like watching wrecks, we've done a great job, I think, of showing them to you. So I can't tell who that is. That looks possibly at the one.
The one of Jason Main's got caught up in it. I know that.
Yep. So he's got Mayer behind him. Mayer is pushing him. The one goes up, and then the left rear quarter gets spun by Mayer. 24 of John DeRugis is behind. He jumps up high. T-bones the one. He gets pushed by Levy in the back, and then Korosek takes him out. I could be wrong, but I think those guys may be done for the day. The 11, who already
Gabe
had
Butler.
issues. That's Alex
Gabe
Jones.
Butler snuck by on the bottom.
Yep.
That's going to keep him up close to the top 10.
Okay, that is our 17th caution, and that will put us in a green-white checker situation. We do have 3 attempts to get this right. We're hoping that we can get this done with 1. That would be great.
Ooh.
3 laps to go. So if you're unfamiliar with the whole green-white checker thing, so what we're referring to is that as the field comes back and takes the green flag, the field will go around, and if there are no incidents, they'll come back to the flag, and the flagman will wave the white flag, signaling this is the last lap. And if there are no incidents at that point, once that white flag comes out, it is how it ends, and that's it. It doesn't matter if there's wrecks or people or cars getting involved in incidents. It doesn't matter. Whoever crosses the stripe first wins. If it comes out in between, after the green flag waves, but before the white flag waves, the caution flag will come out, and then we'll start this all over again, up to 3 times.
And unfortunately, we may use all 3 of them if the last several laps are any indicator. It's tough to get a full lap in here. We have to get 2 full ones.
Yeah, I think that the lessons learned here is that these cars are they move around a lot more than they have in the past under the current model, especially in corner exit, and they're certainly more susceptible to being moved. Secondly, that this is Daytona, not Talladega, so 3 wide is super hard to maintain when you've got that bit of wiggle in the car.
For sure. And I think these guys probably run this car more than we have seen. But again, our experience with this group of drivers, a lot of it has been in the truck series, and the trucks handle totally differently in general, but especially on a super speedway. They're very, very different. Easier to drive, still not easy to drive, but easier than these next gen cars. you hear the drivers in real life talk about the air that comes off that fuser at the bottom of the rear of the car, and just creates a lot of different type air than what they may be used to driving. So it's made for an interesting race, a lot of good racing, but a lot of cautions at the same time. See that one car trying to get caught up right now, running around.
Yep, that is
catch the field.
That's Jason Maines. He is the last car on the lead lap. 22 cars remain on the lead lap, as we are about to go back to green flag racing. Again, this is a green-white checker situation, so let's get at least one clean lap in and celebrate a victory for someone. All right, here we go, back to green flag racing. This is a green-white checker, so hope to make it around cleanly. This is it, though. This is for all the marbles.
Garrett Maines still out in front. Just moved down to that lower line to try to get a push from Sean Hill there in the 77. Now he's mirror racing now, trying to stay in front of whichever line has a run.
That's right. He needs to keep those guys behind him. Oh, there's already a wreck going on. It's big.
Oh, boy.
We're going to do this all over again. There's Kenneth McCullough, Danny Barnes, J.R. Miller. Not exactly sure where this starts, but well, I'll say it again. I've said it multiple times. We're 3 wide. We're 3 wide, and unfortunately, that has not been a good friend. So it's like the 7 came down into the 87.
Yep.
Then Gabe Butler.
There it is. Gabe gets pushed.
Yep. 62, 41.
Yep. And there's enough guys behind them to just pile on.
Yep. Again, super unfortunate, but hey, we'll rack them and re-rack them and stack them back up, and we'll do it again.
This will be the second green-white checker. We'll make an attempt at the green flag, the white flag, and the checkered flag. And we'll see if we have to use up our third one. The good news is I mentioned earlier that I'm using a legal pad to track our caution flags, and I'm almost out of space. But if we use all three green-white checkers, I feel like Larry McReynolds. If we use all 3 white checkers, I will have 1 line left on my legal pad. This is our 18th caution of the race.
I'm glad you're keeping track of that, because I couldn't.
I feel for Jimmy Crow. Jimmy Crow Jr. does such a great job at putting these races together. He's a perfectionist. He loves to see caution-free racing, and I know this is giving him an ulcer today, but sometimes it's just, you just can't help it. We've got a lot of good drivers in here and still having issues. This next-gen car, we're seeing an exhibition today of why it is so tough to drive.
Number of drivers are on pit road getting repairs made. You can see that's Kevin Fries, who's still there. Kevin was involved in an earlier incident and he's just making repairs, I'm sure. And again, as you had said earlier, Jeff, once you wind up getting some front end damage, these cars just don't drive the same.
Boy, that is for sure. They just, all that drag on the front end when you're going 190 miles an hour or trying to, it's not unusual with just so front end damage to lose 20 mile per hour and be running by yourself. And then you just get lapped and lapped again and lapped again. So it makes it very, very tough. If you have front end damage, you need somebody in front of you to follow and somebody behind you to push you to have any hope of staying up. And even then, it can be difficult.
All right, caution is still out.
Yep.
Looks like we may be going back to green flag racing next time by for our second attempt.
Garrett Maines is still in the control car slot, number 1 on the grid.
Sebastian Marin has made his way back up to 5th.
Oh, he has.
So you've got Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, Joshua McCullough, Alex Hill, Sebastian Marin, Dude Conrad, Ray Rittenauer. He has survived. David Overstreet has moved up. Zach Range, Bobby Forbes, all that's your top 10. Those guys are survivors.
They really are. Gabe Butler in that 88 truck, who we've seen be up at the front and then towards the back and then up at the front towards the back, being caught up in incidents, not of his doing, but now he's back in that 18th slot and really not a lot of time to make his way back up to the front again.
No, he was in the pits for nearly a minute and a half trying to get some repairs made.
We see the one car must have been in the pits trying to get caught back up again here quick. He's about a straightaway behind the pack right now as they're coming to the green, but he should have enough time to get caught up.
Jason is the
tail end.
Yeah, Jason in the 1 is the last car on the lead lap. 20 cars remain on the lead lap. About to go back to green flag racing. We're hoping that we can make it through this time. I don't think I've ever been more excited to see a white flag fly. All right, back underway here. Garrett Maines takes the outside line. Cody Nagels. You know, it's not Cody Nagels. It's in a 6, but that's not Cody Nagels.
No.
I think that's Andrew Navarro, I believe. But that outside line has again ruled. That's Maines, Hill, Sebastian Marin, Conrad, David Overstreet in that outside line. Car was brushing the wall, but I don't think that green flag is going to fly. Oh, they are wrecking, but the green, yep, we didn't make it. Well, this would make perfect sense. That's why we would, yeah. Okay.
Well, we are still, that says 3 laps to go, and when we take the green flag, we will have 2 laps for our third and final green-white checker.
So whatever happens, happens. There's no do-over. There's no yellow flag. It's not going to matter. This will be the end. Someone needs to give that pace car driver a raise.
He's got more laps this race than ever. The good news is we will not make it to 20 yellow flags. We will end with 19. Well, unless, I guess there is the chance for another yellow flag, but
it could end.
It could end the race.
That's correct.
So I may or may not have 1 line left on my legal pad.
Well, long race for these drivers. They have been at it since 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and if they were earlier in practicing and qualifying, they've had a long day, but it's about to come to an end with just a few laps to go.
We should apologize to the wives and mothers that are preparing dinner and maybe having to hold it for a bit, but we are We are getting close. Still under the caution, but this next restart will definitely be our last restart. We'll see if this is our final yellow flag.
Number of drivers are making their way into the pits. Anthony English, Steve Korosek, Austin Green, J.R. Miller, Les Levy are all on pit road. Well, I have to congratulate, I don't know who's going to win this, but definitely, Garrett Maines, Alex Hill, Sebastian Marin, all the guys who are currently running, currently up top 10, because they have been able to survive the mayhem that we have seen today. And for the most part, it has not been of the drivers doing per se at the front. Well, I take that back. There have been a few incidents at the front, but a lot of that was netcode. Seen a lot of these incidents happen towards the back.
Those were serious netcode, I remember. So that was. Then we had a couple others that were marginal netcode, but and we don't normally see that, but it seems like lately we have.
So 42 Bravo Foxtrot on YouTube said, imagine if this was a 500-mile race.
Oh, boy.
You'll be holding that dinner for a while.
Yeah, we'd be having a lot of bathroom breaks, too.
Well, I think I've seen the trend, and we've seen this in other leagues as well, where a lot of these events are taking away the quick repair, and
yeah,
that is a way to kind of force a driver to drive with a little bit more caution and to potentially take fewer risks, because there's no chance to fix it with just a blink of the eye. You come in, you go back out with a fresh car. You have got to be careful, because your equipment, when it's damaged, is not going to get repaired easy and could be eliminated in the event of an incident.
Well, that's so true. The league that you and I run in has taken away. We do not have a quick repair in our races, and we raced on this track with this car not too long ago, and it spreads the field out, because all of a sudden you get cars that have significant damage and they just can't keep up. And especially then you're starting with maybe 25 or 30 cars, and so you have fewer cars to start with, and then with all the damage, they get spread out, and you don't have near as many cautions because of that.
Well, my estimate here is that Garrett Maines will be the control car again on this restart. And if you're just tuning in, this is the final restart of our event. And you are seeing that right. There were 19 caution events in today's race.
Yep, and as the cars enter turn 3, get ready to go turn 4 and then cross the line. We know that the next yellow flag, if there is one, will end the race. This is our third and final green-white checker. So they'll take the green flag. If they make it a full lap, they'll take the white flag. And if they make it a second full lap, they'll take the checkered. If they take a yellow flag anywhere in that process, that will end the race and freeze the field.
Flagman has the green flag at the ready. Garrett Maines takes the field into the restart zone. And we are back underway. Green flag is waving. This will wrap up this race here. Just 2 laps to go.
Good, clean start.
Significantly smaller field. Only about 20 cars are out there right now.
Garrett Maines. Whoa, boy, those guys up front. That 20, is that the 27 or 22, is just glued to Garrett Maines' bumper.
That's Sebastian Marin back there behind Garrett Maines in the 23. Yep. The 77 of Alex Hill is behind. You've got the
Yeah.
8 of Dude Conrad that's also up there, as that line has begun to go single file. And we
Those top
will
two
get
cars.
the white flag.
All right.
Final lap of the race. Garrett Maines is in control.
Oops, somebody's in the infield.
He's got Sebastian Marin right behind him. Pretty much where, Jeff? Around turn 3, you're going to see who decides to stay with it or break apart?
That's true. I think this outside line that's running is going to stay where they are for the most part until they get into somewhere in that third and fourth corner. You're going to see every man for himself. The 31 and the 23 are on the same team. They're part of that Dale Cup Games team. But they'll be teammates up until about turn 4, and then they'll be individual racers, I think.
Here we go.
There they are.
Side by side. 23 takes it away. 77 pushes. And that has completely changed.
Sebastian Marin went, and that 77 of Sean Hill went with him instead
Alex
of
Hill.
staying with Garrett Maines.
Yeah, Alex Hill with the 77. Sorry about
Alex
that.
Hill. And that's the way it. That was what determined the finish was that 77 car of Hill. Which way he went, whoever he followed was going to get the push to get them across the line.
All right, we're waiting for the results to be posted. They haven't happened quite yet, but when they do, we'll give you the final. As the winner makes his way again under and across the stripe. He decided to do an extra lap like he hasn't done enough.
There he goes.
And celebrating his victory. Here are the results. Let's bring those up.
There you see Sebastian Marin comes across the line in P1, takes that checkered flag, followed closely by Alex Hill, Garrett Maines, Dude Conrad, Cody Eagles in 5th, Rick Seabrands in 6th, Andrew Navarro in 7th, Zach Range in 8th, Austin Green in 9th. In 10th place, we've got Vincente Guerrero, followed by Joshua McCullough, Danny Barnes, Jason Maines, Ray Rittenauer, Gabe Butler in P15, followed by Bobby Forbes, and in 17th, David Overstreet.
All right, in 18th is Tom Dixon. 19th, Les Levy. J.R. Miller in 20th, Steve Korosek in 21st, Kenneth McCullough Jr. in 22nd, Heath Job in 23rd, John Ward 24th, John Durudris in 25th, 26th is James Mayer, Jeremy Osborne 27th, Anthony English 28th, Kevin Fries in 29th, Sean Stevens in 30th, Michael Carpenter finishes in 31st, David Bond 32nd, Christopher McCullough in 33rd, and Elliott Swope in 34th.
35th, we see Jimmy Reynolds. 36th is Dylan Jones. 37th is Matt Swope. 38th, Joe Del Vecchia. 39th is Justin Mills. 40th is Stephen Harry. And Dean Wilkinson in 41st.
All right, so there's the wrap-up of today's race. The Jimmy Crowe Sr. Robert Jordan 250 brought to you by One Stop Shop. We thank you again for tuning in. We're going to bring you driver interviews, but I think we're going to forgo those. And thank you again for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network here. We know you have a choice for your streaming services and for what events you watch, and we appreciate you following along with this event. We ask that you could like and follow the IWM Broadcast Network so we can bring you other races similar to this on both Wednesday and Thursday nights, and also special events that we may have. Thank you for Jimmy Crowe for putting this together, and from us here in the booth, Jeff Needy and Rick Souza, myself, we thank you for tuning in, and you have a great night.